All right, are you ready? Good, at least one of us is. I'm kind of not sure what I want to work on. At this point, I'm fairly confident of what I want to work on. I want to get the front clip put on this truck, and then get the radiator fit in there to see how the radiator is gonna fit in the truck, and see what I've got to do to the front radiator support. I got to do some modifications to get it to accept that Crown Vic radiator. This is the support. This is the radiator cross member support, and this piece I believe is going to have to come out. I'm probably going to have to drill the spot welds and get that taken out. But I won't know that till I get the front clip back on and get the radiator set in there to see where I'm at. Now I got this thing strapped to the wall so in the wind and stuff it wouldn't, fall over. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to set this tripod up and then get you guys going on a time lapse so I can record myself struggling with this front clip. I know it's going to be a struggle. Last time when I took it off the truck was down low. It wasn't on these wheels. It was sitting down all the way on the ground, and so it was pretty easy for me to get off. It's not going to be easy for me to get off this time around, so it might be comical to watch. Anyway, let me get you set up on a tripod. So if you like this video so far, pause it and go to the channel and then hit the subscribe button, and then hit the notification bell so you can follow along with the build. Okay, I told you it was going to be comical, and I'm not even done yet. But I'm glad it's not like freshly painted. You know what I mean? Otherwise I'd be having to repaint it, because at this point I would have scratched it up. I didn't hit like the doors or nothing. It's catching like right here when on the inside of that when I'm finagling with it. The last time I put this on and put the bolts through to get it to line up, I actually had help. My wife helped me, but I don't have any help right now, which is all right. I get it. I'm gonna have to think. Probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the bolts ready for the very bottom of the fender, like the one that I just welded, and then the other one. So like right down there, and I'll get that ready, and then I'll just kneel down, push up, and then put that one in, get that one set, and then I can get the tops figure out, right here in the front. I don't need it bolted up all the way. I just need it basically sitting in place so that I can figure out get this radiator and such figured out. So now would be a good time to pause the video and hit the thumbs up, and then comment if you got something you want to talk about. But it's sitting in here. It's sitting here the way I want it, because what I want to do is I want to get this figured out. This will cut. These zip ties will cut loose. This piece will go down and it'll mount down in the frame right there. But that radiator is a lot wider. It's wider than this, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to drill these out to get this off. So right now I'm gonna set you up somewhere, and then I'm gonna go get that radiator, and then we'll have a look at it together. Okay, this is the whole mess. out of the car. And I want to try to get all of this to fit in there. It's all pretty much in one shot. This is the bottom support that was in the car, and you can see that was the frame rail, and then the bottom of the radiator sits down into there, and then that cooler that's up in there, that's zip tied, clips into that. I'm going to try to use that. I don't know how I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to try to get this mounted in there so that all these will stay on there. This is the mount for the top of the frame rail of the car. And I don't have a tape measure handy. Let me grab a tape measure and we'll get some measurements and then check it. Alright, I'm going to pull some measurements here and see if I can't figure out what I've got here. This is 30 inches from inside to inside. If I go to that flange like that, it's 28. So I'm real confident that 28 is not going to work. So if I go to like the outside of that piece, the outside of that piece, I get about 33 and a half. So yeah, that thing's gotta go. Both of these are gonna have to go. The other measurement that is from the fan to here is about 11 and a half, so I'll call it 12 inches. And in the very nose of this, 12 inches is right there. So I mean, we're gonna be really, really close to. I mean, we're gonna be really close. So I guess the first thing that I need to do is I need to cut this zip tie loose so that that thing can drop down out of my way, because the fan will get into that space. And then drill these out, get those out of there, and then see how this is going to fit. Because I really would like to get that piece for the bottom of that radiator. This piece, I'd like to somehow incorporate that down right there into the. I wonder what this measures from top of frame to the top of this nose. 22 inches. And we got 22 inches to this little plastic. There's still another like 24 inches to the very top. If I was right to the top of the frame, 24 inches, we'd have real problems fitting it under the hood. That'd be a problem. Anyway, I get a drill and drill on this, see if I can get these things off, and then gonna go from there. Have a better idea of what's going on here. Well, I started out trying to drill these rivets out, and what I found out is that down at the bottom, that piece is fairly supportive of the mount on the front of the truck. So I'll just turn this around and see if you can see what I'm talking about. So this is down in here is where the bolt bolts into the frame for the mount, and so it's doubled up right here, and so I decided I'd just go ahead and leave that piece. I just cut it. I just cut down that edge. I did rivet these two, or drill these two out on both sides, but the rest of it I just cut down that. So I just finished that. So I have not tried to fit that thing in here yet. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna cut that real quick, get that to drop down. I put a piece of plywood down there so I wasn't inadvertently cutting on the frame. So anyway, I gotta get that out of there, and then we'll slide that thing down in there and see what it looks like. See what we gotta fab up to make it permanent. All right, I'm gonna try to get this thing snuck down in here real quick. School's about to let out. Traffic starts getting really noisy by my house. Wow. Woo! About 3/8 of an inch there. Okay, I can get some, can't I? Yeah, I can get a little bit. I can gain some. I'm up against this right here. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but if I trim some of that, I can get closer. I'm closer on this side. I could come this way just a little bit. That does it. This thing here, I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna look real quick to see if you can see what I'm looking at. So that, yeah, you can. Okay. Right now, as of right now, and I don't know, that might change, but I'm thinking if this was rotated, that could mount onto the front. That would hold that front. The bracket that I want to use for the bottom, I don't have in there right now. I'll show you why real quick. This piece that I wanted to use, this cooler that sits in here is it doesn't like being as close to the motor as it is. So I'm gonna have to drill out these rivets and get this mounted differently, and then I can try to use this piece right here. But I can't, I'll have to do that first. So, but as of right now, first fitment, this is looking pretty good. I mean, I could still, no I can't. I was thinking, well, I could still take the trans cooler off and put it up front here, but I have that center support, so I can't do that. So I think I'm fairly stuck with what I got. I can get closer here, and like I said, down there, I can cut a little bit more of that out, get a little closer there, and then so when I pull it up against, just you can see how close we are. We're real close. So, but as far as up and down, it looks like we're doing pretty good. That overflow lid is probably going to be pretty close, but yeah, it looks pretty good. I like it. So let me play with this a little bit more. Like I said, I live right close to the high school, and when the high school lets out, the kids are real noisy. There's a lot more traffic than the rest of the day, so I don't want to be recording during all that. You'll catch portions of these kids' conversation when they walk by, and you don't want to be a part of that. So I'll shut you off, and I'll wait and just kind of look this over and maybe take some more measurements and play around with it a little bit and then bring it back and let you know what I found out. I got this back in there. I just have the top clamped on both sides so that it's away from the core support, the same distance all the way down. And then I got this centered and sitting. I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably just going to cut this off, this piece, and I'm just going to probably weld it on, run a bead here and on the back side, on the other side of that, on both sides. And then the bracket that holds that cooler on there, I'll drill the rivets loose, get it, and then move it over to the passenger side is where it wants to go. So I think it'll be fine there. It just needs to move over to the right a little bit. And then right here, I'm gonna cut this off. I think I'll cut this off, and then I'll turn this bracket so it bolts on to the core support, and then I'll make a bracket to weld back on, so that basically just a pie-shaped bracket. Once this is cut off and turned down, then there'll be like a 45 piece right here that just needs to be welded in, and I'll weld that in so that I utilize this same mounting bracket on the top on either side, and then the same mount location on the bottom on both sides. And then I have the light so you can see I'm really close to the pulley. It looks like I'm probably going to pull that radiator closer to that core support a little bit more. So it's kind of where I'm at, what I'm thinking. It's getting kind of dark. I don't know if it looks that way to you guys or not, but so probably I'll pull this, give these a couple of cranks here on my clamps, and hopefully you can see down in there just how close I am. See that? It's real close. I think that'll be okay. I was thinking, well, I could probably move the motor and the transmission back a little bit. I haven't had that driveline cut yet, but that would be a lot of work. I would have to deal with motor mounts. I would have to refab up motor mounts and stuff, that's not something that I want to try to deal with. So I think I'll be okay just being close. At any rate, the rest of this, getting those mounts fabbed up, and is gonna have to wait for another day, because it's, like I said, it's getting dark on me, and I got some other things that I gotta take care of. So I'm probably gonna wrap it up for today, and you'll pick back up with me on another day. So we'll see you real quick. How quick was that? The next day for me, and so I'm gonna get started on this thing. I already just kind of readjusted. I moved the bottom forward just a little bit, and I'm gonna tighten up the top. I got the top a little bit closer also, just trying to get more room in there. So this is where I'm at now in comparison to last night. Other than that little bit of an adjustment, my plans as of right now are the same. So I'm gonna get this thing pulled out and get prepped to get that bottom put together, and I'm gonna not have these mounted here. This and the overflow reservoir I'll put over here. I'll put them off to the side so that they're not up on there like that. They're just, that's the way they were mounted on the car, and I haven't pulled them off yet. So alright, I got the radiator back out, and I got this piece cut the ends off, and I cleaned up the frame. I didn't go far enough over here, so I'll have to clean it up some more to get to right here. So my new plan is this cooler right here. I think it's an oil cooler, and it usually sits right in here. And earlier when I was trying to get it fit, well, yesterday when I was trying to get it fit in here, it was fighting me. It didn't want to sit where the bracket originally was going to have it sit. So now that I've got this in here, I'm thinking, you know what, I don't need this to go all the way across. I've got a cross member already on the truck. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll weld this on, and then once I get this front clip off again the next time, I'm going to cut this off right here on both sides, get rid of this piece altogether, and I'll just weld a bracket that drops down to that cross member of the truck so that this can't flex up and down, right? And then that'll be permanent. But then I'll have all this space under the radiator to come up with where I'm going to put that. Well, I got the radiator back in again, so it's been in and out, in and out, in and out. I got these brackets, so I set the radiator back in. This I tacked up, and then I clamped this back where I liked it. I had cut these off. You can see that I'd cut it off right there, and then I placed it on here. I tack welded it. I took these off, and then I added this piece in here. So now all I have to do is just drill a couple holes. It's not going to be able to get that hole in the middle because this tapers off, but I'll be able to get these two. Should be plenty for me. So that's how it looks, and I have about 5/8, 3/4 of an inch between the pulley and that fan. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that's gonna be fine. I don't see why it wouldn't be fine. At any rate, all I have to do now really to this is I got to drill those 4 holes, and then get nuts and bolts for that. I wanted to weld on weld a nut on to that so that it wasn't having to, you know, hold a wrench, hold a nut, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Anyway, so that's all I got to do to that yet. And then that radiator's mocked up, you know, a little bit of primer and paint to keep that stuff from rusting up. But I'm fairly happy with that. I like the way it's worked out. I still have to address that cooler down at the bottom. I'll do that when I get the front clip back off. So anyway, that pretty much takes care of this. Got that Crown Vic radiator and tranny cooler and AC condenser mounted up in the 61. It looks pretty good. I will, like I said, the overflow and the power steering reservoir, I'm gonna move those. I'll get those on the front. I'll get this one sitting here. It looks like I've got a lot of room here, but I really don't. The inner fenders take up a lot of space right there, but I don't have any problems, so I'll get it fitting in there. So anyway, I think that's gonna basically do it for for this video. So until the next one, have a blessed week, and thanks for watching.